Now, the way all of this works, why we're able to kind of do that is when it goes out and does the discovery, it starts to observe what type of communications are taking place between those various groups that we're looking there. So let me go back to my baseline dashboard here real quick, and we'll go in and kind of look at these different groups of systems that we've got out here. So if I hover over this particular group, I can see here that there are a number of servers associated within this group. You can see in the highlighted box there, and it says, well, who is it communicating with, what other servers? Or I could just right mouse click and say I want to see the details of this. It brings that information out, or I could drill down even more to see a related host. So here's the list of all of the hosts that we've got there, or I can say let me see that one device in more of a concentrated view here. And so again, it can generate that up for me. And of course, notice on here that says that was a dependent there. If I hover on this one, you'll notice that it says here we've got an observed communication going, and what else it's linked to. So you start to get the idea of the way that it does the discoveries. It watches the communication syncs going between there. It builds and keeps this particular thing updated. So again, applications, infrastructure, a wide variety of out-of-the-box, I think the slide said over 200 of those out there. So you're able to kind of do that. So, for example, what's changed since the last time we did the discovery run? We've now had an issue out there. Let's see what's changed. So I could go out here and give it a date range, and this is just demo data, so I'm going to have to use a pretty big range. But I could say I want to go out and look at my host hardware is the category that I'm doing here. And I basically want to go out and tell me every change that there's been to the hardware configurations over this given period of time. Let's not hit run. And it's going to come back and give me a list of what was the value on the first run that we did compared to what it's now found in this second run, and let me very quickly see what's changed in the environment there. And this is taking just a minute, but it'll be up in a second. So it will see if we added memory to a particular device and went from 8 gigs to 16 gigs, it would show me that, given this particular thing, the value before, now I'll have to get down where we've got some better data here, of what it was and what it's been changed to. So here it looks like we've added 4 gigs of RAM. Here's where we added a processor. So all of that, again, can be done very quickly. I did it a date range, but I could look at a particular host that I wanted to look up, a particular OS. Again, just very easy way of doing it. And then, of course, the discovery runs are merely a matter of saying, what IP range do you want to run? You set a time to run that. It's smart enough to know that there is a heterogeneous environment out there, so it will look and try all different types of communications, and it will try Unix command or shell command or WMI read command or whatever is necessary to bring that particular data back. And then, of course, while most of this stuff is discovered automatically, we can always as we configure this, we can put different discovery runs of when you want to do it, if you want to break it up by mask. While it's primarily bringing back information here regarding servers and so forth, it can certainly go out and discover your desktop devices and all if you want to do that as well. What we find in a lot of cases, though, is that customers usually are trying to manage those desktops, and so they might already be using a tool that discovers and manages it, be it the BMC tool or be it this one, but be aware that it can do it. So, a high-level overview, trying to give you an idea of what it does. The discovery is pretty cut and dry. I mean, everybody does that. It's the fact, again, that we understand the relationships, and then we provide this GUI-based front end with all the slicing and dicing pretty much already done for you, and you just click on the one that's appropriate for whatever query that you need to be running there. So hope you find that informative. Again, this was meant to be at a high level. We've got a mixed audience out there, but if anyone would like a more in-depth demo based on your specific environment and your needs that you've got out there, we're happy to schedule these on a one-on-one basis. Just contact your sales rep and let us know. We'd be more than happy to do it. So hopefully while I've been doing this, a number of questions have come in that Derek and I can try to address. So Val, if you can kind of get those list of questions, which I don't have access to at the moment, we'll see if we can't answer any of the audience questions.
Hey, Roger?
Yes, Dick.
While we're looking for some questions, one of the things that I thought that maybe either you or Dirk could address is the connectivity to other types of systems. For example, the Atrium CMDB, or maybe to SDE, because I would suspect that all this data gets collected in the ADDM database of some sort, and you're going to need to integrate that or connect it to either Remedy or SDE or what other service management tool you might be using.
Right, and you're right. It sets it in its own repository, and then as you can imagine, BMC has already developed the integrations, if you would, to be able to take it into information into SDE, information into Remedy Force, obviously information into either Remedy on-premise or Remedy on demand. Those are already done, but it should be able to be mapped into whatever your service management tool is, as long as it can support some type of data import via a web service or an ODBC type of connection to get that information in. Derek, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so we the actual product provides what are called adapters and exporters. So we provide adapters for our DBMS systems as well as flat files in .csv format. So we can basically choose an adapter and then build an export function to export that data to either an RDBMS or CSV style flat files. And that is done through the administration tab within the user interface.
Okay, another question that I was wondering about is the dependency mapping. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Is that something that I know you can go out, you can discover some of these dependencies, but I think a lot of it, I would suspect, would have to be manually entered. Is that right? I mean, you're going to have to build these things on your own too, to some extent.
No, that is not correct. Actually, that's one of the big things about ADDM is its dependency mapping feature. So, of course, ADDM will discover and map out OEM off-the-shelf applications such as what Roger showed earlier, Microsoft Dynamics CRM, mail systems, any type of OEM off-the-shelf stuff, SAP, all that type of information, but it really excels in discovering custom applications within customers' environments. And it will actually map the relationships that it sees, similar to what it does with automatic grouping. So what it does is it looks for a process running on a specific IP address that has a communication channel to another process on another IP address, and it will start mapping out all of that, what I would consider interdependency relationship and dependency mapping within the application itself. Now, of course, you're going to have to provide some system-level credentials for the tool to be able to go discover the application correctly, but yes, it does all of that automatically, and all of that data actually, if you choose to export it to the Atrium CMDB, all of that information gets sent over when you do the what I would consider the synchronization with Atrium. So all of that information is housed not only within the tool here, but you can export all of that stuff. So if you have an initiative to build service models in your organization, it does everything for you. It maps out all the dependencies and relationships for you.
So it sounds like that really reduces the implementation time a little bit. Could you describe that a little bit more detailed? What would a typical implementation be then for an average customer?
The good thing about ADDM is very quick ROI. We deliver it as a virtual appliance, and we also deliver it on a set of what we call quick start DVDs. So if you choose to go the virtual appliance route, it's nothing more than basically powering on the VM and then going and starting your discovery. So it's very quick ROI. We've been able to go into customers' organizations and within 3 to 4 hours do a complete host discovery. which would be just a very, very simple mapping of all the hosts within the environment. And we're able to get data back within just a couple of hours. So the ROI is amazing. And then from there, of course, it is what we call an iterative discovery tool. So then once you start giving it a little bit more information, such as credentials to access hosts with, then we start digging in and getting the real deep information, like what type of software instances, hardware information, running applications, and all that type of information. So it is very quick ROI. We've gone in and done proof of concept for customers where within 3 days we've basically discovered their whole environment and given them all the software data and information that they've actually asked us for. So quick ROI.
Okay. Well, that sounds very good. Could you also address, because I've heard that some customers will talk about, well, we're using ADDM for our servers and any networking equipment that we might have, but not our desktops. And then I've heard other customers say, well, we're going to use ADDM for everything. How does that work?
So the cool thing about ADDM is it is extensible. So we deliver a set of templates with the tool so that if there is some type of pattern that so let me just back up real quick. So the way that ADDM discovers all this real deep information is through what are called patterns. And we publish 38,000 plus patterns for the tool to go out and discover things like Microsoft Windows and SAP and PeopleSoft and mainframe data and all that kind of information. But the cool thing about it is if there's something that we don't have a pattern for, we provide templates that are extensible that people can take a base template and then do some quick editing of that template to go out and run commands to discover the information they need. And it's funny that you mentioned the whole desktop scenario thing because a lot of our customers are actually taking the templates in the tool and extending them to go discover their desktop applications. And I think that's one of the neatest things about the tool is when we deliver the tool, it comes with all of the patterns. And then every month we do a technology update and we add even more patterns in. So every month you get a free download update with all of the new patterns that are being developed not only internally, but stuff that's developed on our open source community forum. And so just the breadth of knowledge and the breadth of information that are out there is unparalleled and unmatched by any of our competitors.